All right, we've got Bob Flynn with us, and you're my first official interview here on my YouTube channel. Really trying to grow this, and we're in an interesting environment with the real estate economy. Capital is getting more scarce, prices are stabilizing, so you fit a good need for that. I love your business. So, can you just talk a little bit about how you got started, where you're at now?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I started my career working more in like an equity sales, kind of equity capital markets capacity, and quickly realized that all my clients were significantly smarter than me. And I pivoted to real estate because I wanted to get into an easier game, right? So, you know, I wanted counterparties that were maybe not thinking about maybe we're not motivated economically, or just were not as informed as the counterparties and clients that I encountered in my first job. So went back to business school, got into real estate, found a job in San Diego working for a real estate firm, and Lehman Brothers failed 1 week after I started.
Oh,
So
wow.
so that affected the arc of my career, needless to say. And we formed a business that I think got us through the GFC, but eventually, myself and a few other people were let go. And I started initially making hard money loans in San Diego. As the market bottomed, I moved into a riskier portion of the capital stack, fixing and flipping homes. So I rode the REO short sale wave post GFC of fixing and flipping homes. Ended up, eventually doing higher and higher amounts of construction in our jobs, adding a master suite and so on and so forth. Finally, we started building some homes, and from there, we kind of pivoted into doing value add multifamily deals, some value add mobile home park deals. Since COVID started, from my perspective, when we saw those images coming out of Wuhan in January of 2020, from my perspective, the bell was rung. And so I returned to making hard money loans, and that's all I've been doing since since COVID started.
Yeah. And I'm not going to ask you about your rate or fees or anything, but do you, with your loans, do you typically like to stay like 90 days or 1 year out?
A typical term for me would be 6 months, but it's really going to depend on what the borrower's plan is.
Yeah.
So, if for the borrower's perm debt, they need to, let's imagine a borrower is doing a BRRRR deal and it's heavy value add. They might need 120 days to execute the business plan, then release the property. And with some permanent lenders, they might have to show a new seasoned rent roll. So I'm okay making 1 year loans, but needless to say, we're on the shorter end of the curve.
Definitely. And mostly value add, I'm assuming,
Um,
deals?
Predominantly, I mean, I have a bias away from very, very heavy value add deals. Like, I've done fire burned houses before, and I feel like I know that so much can go wrong along the way. And at least from my perspective at this point in the cycle, I just don't want to inherit a home in a downturn where there's so much work that has to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. I've, working at a bank, those always take longer, more expensive. It doesn't usually. And yeah,
Yeah, it's a
those are,
little like software development, right? You know,
yeah. That's a great analogy. Great analogy. I can tell you've said that more than once. um, are you lending? Where all are you lending? All 50 states? What areas?
no, by no means. I mean, I'm like a cork floating in the ocean of capital markets.
Huh?
So I've been making loans opportunistically in different states, from Virginia to Texas to Connecticut, to California. However, increasingly, I'm trying to build a presence in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay.
Um, and we can talk about why, or we don't have to.
Yeah. No, I was just how did you choose those specific states, or was it more borrower driven? Like you knew the customers in those
Yeah,
areas?
I think it was a combination of, yeah, it was just very opportunistic. Um, some of these were brokered loans, so
Okay.
a broker would have a loan that had to be funded. Um, what you don't get when you lend like that is you're building a funnel that way of brokers rather than a funnel of relationships in one geography. And
Mhm.
so I'm now really making an effort to build relationships in one geography because I think you can take advantage of compounding better.
Okay, absolutely. So how did that lead to Tucson, Arizona?
The same reason that my partners and I ended up doing some deals in Tucson, um, starting I guess back in 2017. We felt like there was a significant yield spread in Tucson relative to Phoenix, and um, so it was about higher yield. And so when I think about lending, the case for lending in a smaller city or a city that maybe doesn't get the looks that it deserves is even stronger because you're not betting on appreciation, right? You're not going to be a long-term owner. So it's really just a yield play and a function of how creditors are treated in that state.
Okay. So and you're still active in that area? There's still a lot
Yeah,
of opportunity?
yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity in Tucson. I mean, when I started looking at the market there, um, what I kept hearing from people is, "Oh, I know one guy. It'd be great to have another." Or I know my clients have a guy in Scottsdale. It'd be great to have somebody just focused on Tucson.
What's the population of Tucson?
It's a little under 500,000 in the MSA.
Okay. It sounds just like Chattanooga. That's where I'm based. And
Yeah,
it's just like there's in Chattanooga, there's like one hard money lender, or maybe
right.
two. I don't know. It's just like, but I love living here, doing business here because it's like it just doesn't attract it's attracting more attention, fortunately, unfortunately. But yeah, it's just there's a huge area to make money for everybody, all your participants.
So it's really the absence of competition in business that makes things interesting.
That's right. Yeah.
To your point.
Where did you go to business school at?
I went to Ross University, Michigan.
Nice, nice. Good deal. Sam Zell territory.
Yes, yeah, it was cool. We got to the real estate club got to meet with Zell, in his offices in Chicago.
That's awesome.
It was a very cool meeting because, whenever you talk to a real estate guy or gal, and they're looking back in their career, they remember their first deal,
Yeah.
their second, right? And they get bright-eyed. He starts talking about his first deal in Ann Arbor, and I was like, oh, that's cute. Like he remembers what he bought his first deal for and the address. But then he keeps reminiscing, and he's like, my third deal was on Division Street, and he keeps pulling the thread. He remembers it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love have you listened to his biography or read it?
I have, thankfully, I did it on Audible where he features.
Yeah, on Audible is the way to go with him. It's incredible. I need to really listen to it. So, hey, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you. Where can my audience find you at?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter a lot, right? That's how we met. I
Right.
believe my handle is Flynn_Bob.
Hmm.
I also have a blog. If people are just more broadly interested in my ideas, whether it's in hard money or other asset classes, and that's at inefficientpursuits.com.
Okay.
And there's a link there on my Twitter page as well.
Okay. I'll be sure to link to those. And yeah, I love your. Is it Hard Money Mondays you do on Twitter?
Yes, yes,
I love those. I've shared a bunch of them, and I love them because it's valuable information to everybody. I mean, like it's when I got into banking, I wrote, if you look on Bigger Pockets or something, you'll find me like question hard money lenders, like, because I would see so many people like, I don't know, not using in the right way. But now that I'm like more seasoned, I see it as like just such a valuable resource that like, it's just all real estate. Sam Zell, it doesn't matter. Anybody uses a hard money loan at some point in their career because it's just, it's like playing golf. You want all the clubs you can have. It's just
that's
another
right.
club in the bag. So, well, we'll leave it on that. Thanks for your time, Bob.
Jimmy, it's been fun. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Talk to you soon.